Welcome to the Mayor Show. This is a very, 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 very important show, so I hope everybody pays attention to it. This is a new thing that's happening in Bensalem, the consolidation of our volunteer fire companies. And we have with us today our director, Bill McVeigh, and we will be bringing on the new officers of the companies as they have consolidated. And I'll let the director talk about that and just briefly how we got there. It's been a long time.
Been a very long time, Mayor. It's been over 2.5 years. Bensalem has a very rich legacy of really traditional firefighters that have done a wonderful service for Bensalem. For over 100 years, Cornwell's Fire Company was the first one in Bensalem. And there's 5 other companies. The 6 legacy companies over the last 2.5 years have identified that they're losing membership. It's across the country, across the state. But they need the adequate resources to respond, to deliver that service to our citizens and business people to keep them safe. So over the past 2.5 years, leadership from all 6 companies on our Consolidation Steering Committee has worked together with myself and our Deputy Director, Bob Race, and yourself, as you're aware, to form a new fire company, the Bensalem Volunteer Fire Department. And we will be the first in this region to consolidate and bring all 6 companies together to operate under the leadership of one organization to perform fire services solely as the sole volunteer company of Bensalem.
Well, we got to understand that we're not the first ones doing this. This is something that's been coming out because of the volunteers not having enough volunteers today, and so it's a safety issue. So to make it safer and be able to give the service, the fire service, this is what we had to do now.
Sure, as the municipal government and the Department of Public Safety, that's our main job: police, fire, and EMS. And when we see that we're losing membership and they can't maybe get adequate staff to get on the truck to get out, consolidation was a way for the township to preserve the volunteer service and not be forced into providing a full paid fire company, which would be an extreme burden on the taxpayer.
Well, I think you got to emphasize what you just said. These are volunteers. The consolidation is all volunteers.
This was a way.
From the 6 companies.
Yes, sir. This was a way that we were able to sustain our volunteer service, which we really value here in Bensalem, so that they can continue to keep our residents safe and be a fire service in Bensalem and not just be a fully career staff around the clock, which, as you know, would significantly impact us as a municipality.
Of course. So I guess maybe what we ought to do is start introducing some of the men that are going to be in the positions of chief and.
Yes. So
I don't think you call him chief, right?
Well,
deputy chief, not deputy chief.
You're correct. For the volunteer
okay.
organization, we will have a deputy chief, and he will work with, for the first time, our fire chief of Bensalem, Mark Antozeski, who will be here with him to actually talk about his relationship as the township liaison with this fire company to ensure that day, night, no matter when, we have fire trucks that can get out and perform that service.
Okay. So where do we go from here?
We're going to bring on our fire chief, Mark Antozeski, and Deputy Chief Ron Harris for the new organization.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you, Mayor.
Okay. I have with us now the chief of Bensalem Township, Mark Antozeski. Did I get that right?
Yes, sir.
You sure?
Close enough.
Okay, close enough. And Deputy Chief of the new Consolidation Fire Company, Ron Harris.
Yep.
Good to be with you, Ron, again.
Nice being here.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you, sir.
And, well, Chief, why don't we start out with you?
Okay.
Okay, you're new here for a few months.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you. My name is Mark Antozeski. I'm the new career fire chief here. Started in February. I have a little over 40 years firefighting experience. I was brought on here to be the first career chief of the Bensalem Fire Department. And my position here is to coordinate with the volunteer organization and to oversee the fire marshal's office and the career staff, and to provide fire protection services 24 hours a day with our career staff, which is mostly Monday through Friday, and with the volunteer staff on nights and weekends. So we'll continue with that coordination and develop the full department as we move forward. And now with the new one organization, it'll be much more streamlined to provide that service.
And you are the first chief that we had here in Bensalem.
As the full-time fire chief, yes, sir.
Yeah, you're the first one. Well, Ron, over to you. This is a new deputy chief of a consolidation of the fire companies.
Yeah.
And, you've been around a long time. You've been around fighting fires for a long time.
I've been a firefighter in Bensalem for 43 years. I grew up, was raised in Bensalem, live in Bensalem, been a firefighter at Nottingham since 1981. Rose up through the ranks, took over the chief's position in 1998 to present. The consolidation process that we've been going through has been over 2.5 years, so it's been a long process. And it's to benefit not only just the fire departments in the township, but the community, to make sure that we're providing adequate service across the community, not just in one section of Bensalem Township.
Ron, this goes back further than 2.5 years. We've been talking about things here for the safety reason. It goes back to 2011, I think.
Yes.
And that we've been talking about how do we solve problems, and 2.5 years on this consolidation.
On the consolidation, yes. And we had conversations years ago when we started Bensalem Fire Rescue.
How do you see this working for us now? You see better service, maybe even attract more volunteers? I don't know.
I hope so. We're one unified department. We're not 6 independent volunteer fire departments. We're one large volunteer fire department with multiple stations. So we're still providing that same coverage out of those firehouses for the community, but under one set of rules, one leadership group to provide everything uniformly across the township.
Yeah, training, everything comes
Yes.
in that, right?
Yes.
On my end of it, I think maybe we have more apparatus than we really need in the township.
Each department in the past has had their own what they felt they needed. So every department would have some spare equipment or backup apparatus. Now we can utilize that across all the stations, so we don't have to have as much. We can share equipment. We have hose. If one station has surplus of hose and another station needs hose, we can go and grab the hose to utilize it, where it's not independent anymore. It's one. So the cost savings is going to be tremendous with sharing the cost across all 6 stations.
Yeah, that's the part, obviously, that I stay in touch with. I'm not a firefighter by any stretch of the imagination. You guys do an incredible. The word legacy I learned to use very much when you said you didn't use legacy there, so keep you up to date on that. Chief, now you're here. You've got your feet on the ground. Have you ever worked with a consolidation before of this type of with volunteers?
We did not. In a previous employment in New Jersey before I came here, we were mostly volunteer organization at my particular fire district, and we pretty much merged into consolidated those operations and expanded our career staff. So we went from a more volunteer to a more career. But all those same things that we're talking about doing takes place. You know, we look at overall equipment, we look at overall training, we look at all those things, and we make the best decision for the entire community. And that's what the deputy chief is talking about, is now we can standardize training, we can standardize equipment, things of that nature. And instead of just being one station does one thing, one station does another, we're looking at the big picture, the whole township for operational purposes, and that way we can provide a better service equally across the township.
And it's been so important, the safety. This is all about the safety, nothing else. These are still volunteers we're talking about. So I want to make that perfectly clear. A consolidation of all the legacy companies into one. Am I right when I say that?
Yes.
Is there anything I'm missing that you should tell them, or you add to it?
This isn't something new. This is happening across the state of Pennsylvania. There's currently over 24 departments that are doing consolidation / mergers that we're doing. So it's affecting communities across the state. So it's because of the lack of volunteers. And if you look at the volunteers, in the 1970s, there was over 300,000 volunteers. And then you go to 2000s, we're down to 60,000. Now currently, there's estimated around just over 30,000. So it's a constant dwindling, and it's been challenging for the fire departments to have people come in to volunteer, especially when they see the commitments that they have to commit to as far as training to learn the job. It's changed drastically. We're no longer just a fire department. We handle all type of emergencies. So the training has increased, and it's kind of deterred some people to volunteer because of the time commitment, but it's a necessity. We can't drop our training standards to accept people. We have to put trained, qualified people on the trucks to go out the door, because when an emergency happens, they have to be able to handle that situation.
Yeah, and we have a training center.
Yes.
We've had that up there for years. We built years ago. So I don't know if you call it state-of-the-art, but it's a training center.
Yes.
If I understand, we don't do fire inside?
No, it's not a live fire training. We can do everything but live fire training, which is good because there's more to training firefighters than just live fire training. And Lower Bucks County has a live fire training facility a couple miles from here that we can go to do that. But for on a weekly basis to train our firefighters in the basic skills and even some advanced skills to keep them up to par, we can go there and it's out of the way, and they can do it. It's designed to mimic several different types of buildings in our community. We have like a strip store, we have apartments, we have residential, and we have commercial and a hotel. They're all different layouts within that building, so our guys can train within that structure to the types of occupancies that we have in this township if we have an emergency or an incident.
I just, so you know, both of you, the county came after us. We kind of forced
Yes.
the county to build theirs. They weren't doing it, and we built ours.
Yes.
And then they finally came along and built theirs. You had the last word.
No, I just look forward to working with the deputy chief and all the officers and the executive people. Like I said, I've been here for a few months and we've already worked together, but now we have a streamlined organization that we'll continue to work with. We're going to have one mission. We're going to have one set of objectives that we're going to move forward, and that's to protect the community. So it's whether you wear a career patch or volunteer patch, it doesn't matter. We work together for the community, and I think it'll be very, very well put together with the people that have been selected.
And the important part to remember, we have our police chief that we call Director of Public Safety is the guy that you actually will be working with and answer to also. So,
That's correct. Yep.
So I want to make that clear. Bill McVeigh, you know, he's still the boss, right?
Yes, sir.
He's still the boss, okay. Okay, I want to thank both of you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And it's great to have you aboard, Ron.
Yep.
You've been here a long time.
Yep. Sir.
Chief, good to have you. God
Thank you.
bless you
Good to be here.
guys.
So we just heard from our chief officers of Bensalem Township and the Bensalem Volunteer Fire Department. But equally as important is the executive side of the house, our new leaders for the fire department. So I'd like to start with Drew, if you could. Let us know who you are, where you come from in the township,
Sure.
and what you plan to do with this new
Certainly.
organization.
Andrew Hazlett from Newport Fire Company, 25 years of service. We have discussed that we determined there was definitely a need to bring all 6 companies together to provide better service and increase the manpower. So I've been very active in the organization prior to the consolidation, and I felt that it was good to see this through for the residents and for the existing firefighters, and to build upon the membership that we currently have to increase the manpower for responses.
And you were selected and elected as the new president of the organization,
Yes,
right?
sir.
How did
Yes.
that happen, if you want to let the community know?
So we brought all 6 fire companies together, and we had the election, and there were 2 individuals, myself and another individual, that were running for the position, and I was the winner of that election. And
Well, congratulations. That's
appreciate
a
it.
great honor, especially for a new organization. And to my other side here is Mr. Tom Markert. He will serve as the vice president of our new fire department. And both of these positions have a lot of work ahead of them to ensure that they form this company the correct way, outside of fighting fire, but make sure it's run as a good organization. So Tom, welcome. And if you could let the community know who you are and what you've done.
Well, I think I've been a face that's been around the township for quite a while. I'm a lifelong resident of Bensalem. I've been volunteering at Eddington Fire Company for 37 years. Actually, in September, it'll be 38 years. Over that time, I've had many different positions. Also, you know, just as an aside, it's an important thing to note, the fire companies did have a very loose organization, the Bensalem Township Association of Fire Companies, that we use, or that we worked with for common issues. Unfortunately, it kind of fell by the wayside, but I was president of that organization for, I think it was 14 years. So I've always felt that the need to cooperate and the need to operate under one umbrella was paramount to have us move forward. I'm reminded that, like, we have a picture hanging in our firehouse of our 50th anniversary back in 1996. And it's a department picture. And at that time, everyone pictured there were active responding firefighters. And we had 42 active responding firefighters in 1996. Now, similar to the numbers that Ron has thrown out there, our numbers are dwindling rapidly. Consolidation, what does that really mean? I know people are afraid, oh, does that mean, places are closing or we're forcing people out? No, we're not forcing anybody out of the organization whatsoever. We need every single person that we can. As an example, myself, last year, I was the assistant chief at Eddington Fire Company. I was the president of Eddington Fire Company. There's also a needed second organization that every department has called the Relief Association. I was the president of the Relief Association. Back in 1996, they were 3 separate people. And I had to hold all 3 jobs. And by the way, also go to work every day to earn money for my family. So now we have 1 president, 1 vice president over 6 organizations. We are going to be able to realize efficiencies because of that. The one thing that I find amazing, and one of the other members of the Consolidation Board, Scott Rhodes, had said this, he said, tribalism. Back when I first came into the fire service in the 80s and 90s particularly, there was a lot of tribalism. Each individual fire district was almost a kingdom unto itself. We're breaking those barriers down now. The fluidity and the ability to, respond or volunteer to the closest station is, again, going to be one of those things that's going to help us succeed as an organization moving forward. As a township resident, the last thing I want to see is my taxes go up. We all know taxes are an eventuality, but the value that our volunteers bring to the taxpayer is huge because we do meet national standards. We keep ourselves up and we are very, very focused on training. That keeps us safe.
Well, you brought up some really good points that I think just to emphasize. One is that tribalism. A lot of people thought this could never be done by the municipality working with the 6 legacy companies. And I think what we showed here is that teamwork, as the mayor always says, teams win. This showed over a year, 2.5 years, by year 3, we will be done. And we are incorporated and we are going to move forward. And the credit goes to you two, the president and the vice president and the chief that was on. And I think it's very important to emphasize they're all from separate houses that all came together. There's no more tribalism. And the goal was what we said, public safety, fire safety, and to make sure we can deliver that service for years to come. So the last word I think is important is we need more people. We're looking for volunteers. And where can they go, Tom, to join this organization?
The plug that I would like to give is, as firefighters, we have an opportunity to interact with the public at what is arguably their worst days. The worst day of their life, we're there to try and keep it from getting worse. We can't make it better, but we can keep it from getting worse. So if you think that you are able to answer that call, we need you and we want you. So please drop us an email to membership@bensalemvfd.org. We would love to hear from you. Maybe you can be one of us.
Great. Thank you, Tom. Any last words, President?
No, I look forward to getting this going and being an effective department for the township.
Thank you all both very much.
Thank you,
for
Bill.
the work you've done.
I guess, Bill, we introduced everybody. That's so important that they know who they are. I like the part that they're from all the different stations. So what did you call that before?
The legacy companies.
The legacy companies. This is a big step in Bensalem Township, and it's all for the right reasons. So I know there'll be somebody out there that's going to have something to say about it. If you have it to say, don't go on the social media. Come to us if you have a question before it gets, it's crazy out there, the social media. Somebody's going to say something that's not true. It's already been done at one of our council meetings. So I want you to understand that. So this is going to work. It's been in place, and there's a little bit more to go. They have to get everything done, right? It'll be another few months.
The final steps are just
Yeah.
going through the Court of Common Pleas of Bucks County and Pennsylvania, and then the Attorney General's office approval and
Right.
final ordinance. But They are a go. This is the new fire company for Bensalem Township, and I am so proud and thankful to the people we interviewed today and the whole Consolidation Committee and really all of the members that voted. Mayor, they believed in this vision and they did it. Without them, we couldn't have done it. But I think what I'd like everyone to know is without your support from Jump Street, really, when I came to you with this, with Deputy Chief Harris, you've been behind this the entire time and didn't
And
waver.
council. Council come on board.
Council had to
Most
do
of
the
council.
had to do the final resolution to give the authority. So we are very fortunate here for your leadership and council to let us do what we have to do for public safety, and the residents need to know that. It was a team effort.
No politics was involved in this whatsoever. Zero. This is something that was done through consolidation and hard work that all of the companies did themselves. So I want that perfectly clear. Give you the closing.
We appreciate that you gave us the ability to do what we're doing, and I can tell everyone out there, fire service has gotten better today in Bensalem Township, and we are a safer community because of what these men and women have done the last 3 years.
Well, I want to thank all the volunteers been there for the years. Look, I've been here a long time, and they've always been out there, and they've saved lives. I can't tell you how many because I don't know, but they've saved many, many lives over the years. I remember when our house was on fire down on the river, and they were there, and they saved the home. So I know how important they are, and I want to thank them, and I want to thank all of the new people we introduced you today, and the chief, the deputy chief, and certainly the president and the vice president. These are important positions now, so we're going to go out there. We're going to make our fire companies, one volunteer consolidation company, better than we have ever had. And again, any questions, please come direct and don't go on social media. Till next time, everybody, God bless.